Hi guys, welcome back to this channel. This is my own little personal podcast slash journal. I do like to talk about lessons that I've learned, things that I'm into recently. I like talking about goals, careers, relationships, lifestyle, all of those things. And today I want to talk about I want to make a video on self-reflection because it is August and we're in the last week of August, and I can already feel fall creeping in social media and the morning weather. It just feels something exciting is coming. I'm starting to watch Gilmore Girls again. I watch Gilmore Girls like all year round. It is my comfort show, so. But I don't know. It feels like it's like my overall mood has become a little bit more mellow. I feel slower. I feel emotional in some sense because looking back at how this year played out in the first 6 months of the year, it feels like I was able to really fulfill a lot of the things that I talked about in terms of my new goals, my New Year's resolutions, and everything like that. And I just feel so grateful, and I feel happy that I was able to do all of these things and make these memories with my favorite people and get to see so many new places and meet new people. But at the same time, I feel like that pick me girl, but at the same time, there's a lot of things going on in my personal life that I don't have any answers to, and I feel so conflicted, and I feel like there's no right answer, and I'm in this limbo of trying to find the right answer, but there's none. And I feel like I'm being put to a test right now where if I wait a little bit longer, I might get exactly what I want. If I don't, I'm just gonna stay in the same place that I've been. And it's this like little breakthrough that's happening, whether it's only in my mind or whether it's actually, the things that's going on in my personal life, my environment. I can't really tell, but for the past month, for the rest of August, I have been in my own little brain trying to nitpick every single thing that I'm doing in my life right now and trying to find ways to improve it, whether it's my wardrobe, my fashion, my career, my relationships. There's so many things. I think this entire year was about self-discovery and just trying to become a better version of myself than when I was, the year before. And as much improvement that I've made this year, I also feel a little bit homesick. I feel like I've forgotten who I was, and it feels a little bit lonely to sit in this new me, and I don't know why I'm even feeling this way. Sometimes I do feel that the weather affect me in so many ways. Like gloomy weather puts me in a very sad mood, whereas, summer, sunny weather just makes me feel so wild and crazy and happy. And maybe I have seasonal depression or whatever it is. But the time of the year really does affect my mood. And maybe, because it's almost fall, I'm starting to become more serious, a little bit more emotional. I'm starting to become hard on myself, and I am judging myself for not having everything that I want. And that's the hard part about it. I think I just grew up in a way that I always want to get what I want, and patience is not my biggest forte. I thought growing up I was the most patient person. But now that I'm adult and now that my decisions have consequences and I have responsibilities, it's just a bit more of a stressful environment, and that changes and alters the way that I move and the way that I make decisions for myself. I'm now under so much pressure to have my life sorted out, to be with the right person, to have the perfect job, and have all of these things that everybody else has in their life: a new car, house, home, apartment, all of these like things that you see on social media. I think that social media is really, if you don't know how to use it well, it's just going to be a comparison game with everybody else. If you use it in a creative way and you use it to feel inspired, then that's a completely different story. But I feel like in a lot of ways, social media does influence the way that we view ourselves. And that comes from social media being a highlight reel of everybody else's life, in the same way that it has been for me. My social media is about the things that, the little moments in my life that really made me feel happy, that made me feel full, and having my own cup, and having my cup filled. And it doesn't really showcase the little dark moments in life when I feel down, I feel sad, I feel lonely. And that's why I like this platform, because it does give me a space to deep dive into the little things, little intricate things in my life that I'm overthinking maybe, but at the same time I feel like it is a very important process to question and to self-evaluate yourself and see how far you've come, and if there's something that you want to change along the way. Because I feel like at the 6-month mark of the year, there are so many things that you can change. And there's if you really look at the way that you've been for the past 6 months, is there something that you want to change? This is the perfect chance to do that, because you don't want to look back in December and think, oh wow, I didn't stop for a second to even ask myself, am I actually happy with what I'm doing? Am I prepping myself enough for success? Like those little things, those conversations are very important to have with yourself. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now, where I'm thinking, am I actually in the right job? Is this something that's fulfilling for me? Do I have it in me to pursue another degree? And is it something that I'm actually passionate about? Or in terms of relationships, is this like a season of being single and being free and being focused on self-discovery and building myself up? Or is this a season to be in love? Should I be anticipating someone? Should I be going back to someone? There's so many questions in my head that I almost feel like all of these questions are unnecessary, and I just need to silence it, because at the end of the day, all I have to do is listen to how I feel. And sometimes people have made me feel that listening to how I feel is very unreliable, it's very seasonal and very impulsive. But I feel like everyone's life is theirs to live. It's their own journey, it's their own lesson to learn from. And whether I make a mistake because I was being impulsive with this one decision, that is my lesson to learn. And that took me so long to understand and come to terms with, because for a moment I was very hard on myself, thinking that I'm irresponsible or I don't know what I want in life. But when I look back, I was happy. I was happy with the decisions I've made. And, yes, I might be unpredictable. I might have a change of mind in a couple of months. But I feel like the whole purpose of being in your 20s is to figure it out. Figure out how exactly you want your life to play out. Because in your 30s, 40s, yes, you still have agency to change things around, but things become a little bit more serious, and you now have responsibilities, and each of your action has consequence in one way or the other, whether it's moving to a new city and being able to financially afford it, or quitting your job and moving to another country to live out this fantasy you've had in your life. Yes, it's an exciting trip and it's an exciting travel, but at the same time you do have to think about how this is going to affect you in the future. And if having a family sometime down the line is part of your plan, you do have to make preparations for that ahead of time. Because if you think about the place that we live in, the current present moment, the environment that we live in, it's not easy to build your own life. If you're still in your family's home and you're still under your parents' wings, I feel like it's not always easy to kind of turn around and all of a sudden become your own person. There's a lot of processes, there's a lot of transitions that you have to go through in order to be fully on your own. And at the same time, you have to kind of live out your dreams as a little girl, because now you have all of these money that you're earning from your job, and you just want to do everything that you've always wanted to do when you were a little kid and you couldn't financially afford it. I've talked about this, actually. I'm getting deja vu, but it's still going on in my head. I'm still questioning a lot of things, and I hope that anybody who's going through this can relate. And I don't know, it's just like a very tough limbo that you're in, and you really just start to get into your head, and you start to overanalyze every single thing that has happened this year, and whether it feels like I have to make a decision now. But the thing that I'm really learning, or I'm trying to have myself understand, is that I don't need to be in a certain place in a certain time right now. And other people's priorities are different from yours. They might have a family that they want to return or give back to, and that's not necessarily the case for me. But what I'm saying is that other people move different, because they have different priorities in life and they have different values. They could have a family that they're responsible for. They have certain goals that they've set for themselves as their own self-love journey, like going to the gym and stuff like that. But I shouldn't compare, and we shouldn't compare ourselves with each other because of that, because of what we see online, because of what we see in our social media. And just trying to come to terms and understand that the more you pay attention to what other people's lives, what's happening in their lives, the more you're stealing away from your own time of building your dream life. This past August, actually this entire year, I have been trying to build my wardrobe capsule, right? I have been really into going on Pinterest, finding the aesthetic, the vibe that makes me feel most aligned with myself. And in that, after kind of envisioning and creating pin boards of whatever, I start to go, I spend my weekends going out, trying to find little knickknacks in there that really makes me feel like I'm building my life from the ground up. And that's what makes me happy. That's currently my hobbies. And at the end of the day, I will go to the beach and watch the sunset, because there's nothing else, there's nothing more important in life than prioritizing what you want. A lot of the times we let other people influence the decisions that we make, and it's a people pleaser tendency. And if you're like me, it is very hard to come out of that. It's very hard to all of a sudden shift your mindset, and all of a sudden you have self-love and you prioritize yourself and your dream. I think part of being this, not the silver, I guess the silver lining, or how I view people pleasing for myself, is that having a soft heart and compassion for other people, as much as like other people say that I should prioritize myself, it's just sometimes it's more rewarding to give than to receive. And I'm trying to become better at it. I'm going to therapy and everything like that. And that's another thing that I learned. If you've never gone to therapy and you feel like there's something wrong with you, you should still very much go and kind of test the waters with it, because you never know how many internal problems that you actually have unless you go to therapy. A lot of these can manifest in many ways if it stays unresolved or you suppress it, like in health. Like you can all of a sudden have something wrong with you and you didn't even know it was because you have your stress level so high. So just what I'm really trying to get into this year and for the rest of the time of 2025 is to be more mindful and intentional with the things that I do, and really think from the bottom of my heart and not just out of impulsivity and just trying to get everything that I want. I want to be more careful with how I speak, be more careful and think about the things that I'm doing before I actually act on it, because that season of my life has kind of passed and now I'm in this cycle of really living intentionally. I think that's what August to December, what like the whole fall winter concept is for me. It's really slowing down, staying home, nurturing myself after all of these travels that I did this year, relaxing, setting my intentions and my goals for the next year, all of these things. And I hope that everybody can find some time to do that for themselves, whether it's treating yourself for a small last trip of the year and then locking in for the last 4 months of the year. This happens all the time. I get into this mode of really talking from the bottom of my heart, and then all of a sudden I become conscious again and I'm in the present world and I don't know what I was talking about. But anyway, that was just a little rant that I had, something that I've been keeping in the back of my head, things that I've been thinking about. This is almost sort of like a journal for me, and I hope that everybody can take some sort of reflection from this video, just the same way that I am trying to reflect on the past year and trying to learn and trying to become better every single day and finding ways to improve and set myself up for success. But yes, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and maybe I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.